Clearwater, you're on the air, WPLP.
Hi, Bob. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
I only caught the end last hour of what you were talking about, the sales tax going in effect, so I didn't, the new sales tax on advertising, so I didn't get the gist of your argument. But from what...
Oh, I wasn't really making an argument. I was just stating fact.
Oh, okay. No, I was saying it was the gist of your opinion on it. But what I gathered was that you're not totally for that the sales tax on advertising.
I'm not totally for sales taxes, period. I don't like sales taxes.
Okay, because they're a user fee. And I would agree with you in general. And unfortunately, until the people of the state decide that they need an income tax to pay for the necessary services, it looks like a sales tax is all we're going to get. However, I have to say that I've been actually kind of pleased with what's happened, because now we're going to get a lot of advertising, at least respite from it for a few days. So I'm actually kind of pleased that that's happening. Well,
unfortunately, but if it's more than a few days, you're going to get a reprise from programming, too.
Well, that's an interesting thing. I was thinking about that before I called you up. And one of the stations I listen to is a public radio station in the area, and they're going to be relatively unaffected. So that's going to actually be an interesting thing, because it looks like, to me, actually, the advertisers could be shooting themselves in the foot. One public radio station has proven they can make it in this area. In fact, two of them have proven they can make it in this area without advertising at all. And if the advertisers are going to withdraw their advertising trying to make it a weapon, that's only going to make it better for people like me who are kind of fed up with the mindless advertising anyway.
Well, I don't see how it's going to make it better for you, because you're just not going to have the programming available.
Well, you're right. We're not going to have maybe the talk show, but as far as news and
oh, my friend, the news will be the first thing to go.
Well, except
the news is incredibly expensive to do. It's always a losing operation.
Right,
that'll be the first thing to go.
On a station like yours, but on these two public stations, which have by far the most extensive news casting going, and you're probably aware of which two I'm talking about on the FM dial.
Yeah.
They're not going to be affected by this, and they have two of the best news organizations going.
Well, fine.
I'm sorry. I would be sorry to see WPLP go because of this, because I appreciate WPLP very much. But what I'm getting at is the people of the area, if they're willing to tune around on the dial, they're not going to lose information in the area. In fact, what they're going to lose, and this is not necessarily WPLP I'm referring to here, but they're going to lose newscasts that have to package the news to please the advertisers. They might lose that in the long run, and that wouldn't be such a loss either. That's just, that's hoping for the best of all worlds, but that's what it occurred to me as I played this out of my mind. One possible thing to come from this that actually wouldn't be so bad.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
There's an extraordinary thing about the third hour. And this is the third hour of this program. As a general rule of thumb, the third call in the third hour, you know how the first call in the first hour kind of sets the tone for the entire program? Well, the third call in the third hour usually, frankly, it's without fail, sets the tone for the remainder of the program. Sarasota, hi, you're on there at WPLP.
Yeah, I'm calling about the decision of Caspar Weinberger and the administration to build an advanced American tank factory in Egypt. And this...
a tank factory in Egypt, uh-huh.
Yeah, this was in today's Sarasota Herald Tribune. There was quite a big article about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the most sensitive and advanced of the tanks. And what gets me really... I'm very angry about it. The reason I am is because this is a multi-billion-dollar project that our government, who could be building it in America to give many, many Americans jobs, is building it in Egypt. And if our government is not for giving us jobs, who is? I mean, that's why we elect them, to look after our interests. That's the first thing that got me furious about that tank factory. And the second thing is that they said it is highly sensitive information that could very easily, in that type of climate, fall into the wrong hands. And right now, Egypt and Israel have a peace agreement, but, these tanks could be turned loose on virtually anybody. I think it is, A, totally irresponsible. They tried Michael Pollard and convicted him because he sold secrets to Israel. But here, the United States government is giving secrets away to Egypt. So they're giving secrets away. They're giving foreigners jobs by the thousands. This is a multi-billion-dollar project. And I want to know, I'd like to ask someone in the administration, what is wrong with giving Americans jobs? I mean,
Then why did you call me?
To the foreigners? I don't know.
Okay.
That's it. I mean,
All right.
That's primarily it. I think the administration has too many interests in the Middle East. For example, and I just touched on this briefly, like Reagan has umpteen men that have very strong connections with Bechtel in Saudi Arabia. And that's why I feel the Saudi Arabians are the moderates. Caspar Weinberger is associated, George Shultz, Philip Habibus has associations with Bechtel. It's a private, closed corporation. Let's stop the government from giving America away to the foreigners. Let's keep America in America. That's what I say. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
All right. How would you feel if you were an Egyptian? I think it's time to go to the automated callers. Ford Mill, hi, you're on the air, WPLP.
I wake up every morning wishing that they had killed me. And Jim does too.
All right, thank you, Ford Mill. Pinellas Park, you're on the air, WPLP. How do you feel about group sex?
I disagree with everything you say, Bob.
Doesn't surprise me, you old bag. I think you would disagree with everybody. Okay, next we go to Palm Springs. Hi, you're on there, WPLP Palm Springs.
I wake up every morning wishing that they had killed me. And Jim does too.
Okay, Largo, you're on the air, WPLP. Where do you stand on those Egyptian tanks?
All right, but that's not what I called to talk about, Bob.
Well, that's too bad. That's what we're talking about this hour, Egyptian tanks. Next we go to Charlotte. Hi, Charlotte, you're on the air, WPLP.
I wake up every morning wishing that they had killed me.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim does too.
Okay, Lutz. We'll go to Lutz next. We always get good calls out of Lutz. Lutz, where do you stand on lesbian priests?
You'll never give people who disagree with you a chance to talk, Bob.
Sure I do. You want me to prove it? Here's one of the most disagreeable people I've ever heard my entire life.
I wake up every morning wishing that they had killed me. And Jim does too.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, honey. South Tampa, your turn at WPLP.
I think you're a Tommy Pinko faggot, Bob.
Well, thank you very much. I need support like that. St. Petersburg, you're on the air at WPLP.
Oh, what the hell, Bob? If they ever figure out how to read the blueprint anyway, they'll probably put a camel in it for power, and let's hope they don't have to push start it, you know?
Okay.
Hey, I wanted to call you because you hadn't mentioned anything about some of these other new laws that are going to be taking effect tomorrow, and one of them has to do with the cat leash thing. And also written into the law is it's now permissible to trap stray cats, which is what I really wanted to talk about. I got this wonderful idea about 8 and 10 months ago when I was listening to Tim Cole one day. He had a show on how he hated cats.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, gee, you know, I got a light bulb idea. I've been trying to figure out a way to make enough fortune to get out of this state, and it came to me. How about a cat trap? Now, this was back 10 months ago, but what I did, my cat trap is more or less of a twofold thing. Not only is it a cat trap, but once you catch the cat in the trap, then you turn it into a crab trap.
Mm-hmm.
And you just toss the thing in the water, and you've got a batch of crabs that you can eat.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the cat's gone, the crabs are gone, it's back to the same old thing. And the wonderful part, now I can't...
Sounds like a remarkably efficient machine.
I tell you, it's so cheap to manufacture, but I can't tell you about the threefold use of it. It has a third use, too, which is mainly its selling point.
Mm-hmm.
Because I sell these things at the flea market, and these little old ladies don't really know what it is. They buy the most of them. They don't even know what they're doing, I guess.
I don't see that many little old ladies at the flea market.
Oh,
When I go to the flea market, I see a bunch of big, relatively young rednecks.
Well, there's a lot of little old ladies out there squeezing tomatoes. You know, they got about 29 pounds of tomatoes out there.
Hey, Elmer, come over here and look at this needle point. I think it's really fine.
Yeah, that's what I see when I go to the flea
But
market.
my cat trap is something else, and now it's legal to use, and they're very successful. I just had to tell you about that because these people now, when they're coming out to the flea market, they'll see my cat traps out there.
Okay.
A cat trap that will catch crabs.
Oh, what an entrepreneur. A little free advertising. Okay.
Right.
Which flea market are you normally at on Saturday?
Well, I go out to the one on Park Boulevard, the big one out there.
Yeah. What's that? The wagon wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one where I see all the rednecks looking at the needlepoint.
Well, they buy a lot of cat traps, too.
And the carved coconuts. They're really big on carved coconuts.
Okay, Bob, you have a good one now.
Be good. Caramba. 10:23 the time. Hillsboro 224-0057. Pinellas 393-0057. Freeform unrestricted talk. Palm Harbor High, you're on there at WPLP.
I'd like to know something about this situation. You know how Sandy Friedman, mayor of Tampa, always has that upset look. Well, I've seen her twice with David Fowler, and she was always smiling. Are those two doing something frisky together? And I heard that other people have seen them together.
Where did you see them?
Sarasota, Bradenton. They've been seen in Tampa. They've been seen out on Longboat Key. I think it's a shame.
What do you think is a shame?
That those two should be together. Both of those two people supposedly happily married people.
Well, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. I've heard this rumor, too. And while David Fowler is a friend of mine, he refuses flatly to speak about it.
Right. He refuses to comment.
You know, there's something that I have noticed, and there's something that a lot of other people in the Tampa Bay area have noticed as well. David Fowler and Jack Ellery are locked in a life and death struggle in the ratings. And currently, Fowler is ahead. Now, as you probably know, being an astute radio listener, Jack Ellery has tried for months to get Sandy Freeman to come on his show to answer questions. And she has steadfastly refused. Now, I don't wish to start anything, and I don't wish to put ideas into people's heads. But it would seem to me, I mean, you know, my God, the station over there is virtually across the street from City Hall.
That's right.
It would seem to me that it would behoove her honor to appear on the Jack Ellery show, were it not for the fact that possibly she was trying to keep Ellery in the doldrums rating-wise. And why would she be doing that? Well, I can't begin to imagine why.
Yeah, I can't either, right.
And whenever I ask Fowler about it, he always changes the subject. He, you know, whips out some old pay stubs, old faded pay stubs.
Ask anyone
tries
who's
to show them to me.
If you can find anyone who's seen them together, she's smiling. Something you don't see on TV. She's smiling. That's that mean, business-like, stern look.
Well, the last time I was over Fowler's house, you know, his wife was just sitting in the corner quietly weeping the entire time. Just sitting over in the corner sobbing.
Well, I think it's a damn shame. If Gary Hart couldn't run for president because he was messing around, Fowler shouldn't be working. I don't know about that, but Friedman shouldn't be representing Tampa as mayor.
Well, I think it's a damn shame, too. Somebody that has, you know, ratings like Fowler has should be able to, you know, do better, a little better than the mayor. Well, maybe not Donna Rice quality, but something in between, you know.
These are two popular people.
Oprah Winfrey or something.
I think it's a lack of intelligence. Anyway,
Well, there's obviously a great deal of hanky-panky going on in this market.